Now, the year 2025 has been quite eventful for the African fintech industry, from big deals to partnerships to product breakthroughs and policy headlines. The rapidly growing sector also went through tougher regulations in the year under review as the sector prepares for what 2026 will bring. Here are excerpts from the fintech professionals sharing their thoughts at this webinar. Take a listen.
We speak on behalf of the entire continent and the ecosystem. So what we noticed this year, and what I'm very much excited about, quite a few, but the first is around mobile money. We said that Africa is a mobile-first continent, and Africa has actually gifted mobile money to the world. So mobile money started in Africa, and how that mobile money became innovation is because actually it was the regulatory policy and regulators and policymakers accommodating innovation in Kenya. So they had this motto, innovation before regulation. So it is that innovation before regulation discipline and motto that the Kenyan policymakers and regulators allowed M-Pesa to become what has become as a mobile money innovation. So that in policy space accommodation has brought and birthed mobile money. And we know that the mobile money is now instrumental for financial inclusion across Africa. So some of the most exciting development I personally loved about 2025 is those innovations around or on top of the layers of mobile money. One particular that comes to mind is the innovation by OnAfrique and PAPS. So as Darif, founder of OnAfrique, has been saying, why don't we transfer money just like we're sending text between two mobile addresses? And that is the innovation now made possible by a partnership of OnAfrique, MTN, and PAPS through the Continental Free Trade Agreement. Now, a pilot scheme is going between Ghana and Nigeria. So Ghana and Nigeria customers on MTN and OnAfrique can now transfer money. So that pilot is a huge step on the layer of mobile money innovation Africa has birthed, and really looking forward to that being expanded across markets. I am also very much excited about the regulatory innovation that this year has shown. That is one particular is the virtual digital assets innovation and policymakers dispensation in Ghana and Kenya. So both countries, Ghana and Kenya, have now issued their virtual digital assets regulation. So now it's very clear for innovators to operate within those jurisdictions because there is a clarity and also regulatory oversight on those assets. And South Africa has been doing fantastic over the years. Very happy to see Ghana and Kenya has followed. Forex is a big issue, as Foster, you highlighted at the start. One of the concern we have for Africa to trade against with itself is that we have 54 countries who are transacting moving goods, but moving goods follows by moving money, but they have to rely on third-party currencies. So PAPS is changing that, and the launch of the African currencies marketplace is a huge innovation for this year. So basically, two traders, two companies within two African countries can now leverage the African currency marketplace of PAPS to transact their goods and services without the need for foreign currency, third-party foreign currency. That is another innovation. Fintech license passporting, as you know, we've been very fond of that innovation. Now, that will be very much interesting for Daniel and John as well. Any African fintech startup that has gone through a stringent due diligence in one African country is replicating across jurisdiction, tiring, prohibitive. So now any startup that is licensed in Ghana will automatically be passported to Rwanda. Would look forward to seeing more of those innovations expanded across countries, but that is one innovation that stand out. And countries across Africa have also started launching either their own switch or their own digital currency. Rwanda has launched eCash. Ethiopia has launched EthioPay. And also Liberia just launched this week their national switch. That is another innovation. Yesterday, we also joined the live session by Coinbase. Base has launched the influencer and creators space where now African creators who've been fantastic, talented, but they were not being remunerated for their talent because there is no platform. We have so many platforms now we're actually making it possible for creators. Now, Base has made it possible for them to be rewarded for their talent. That is going to be an increasing concern.
Thank you very much, Zach, for that very, very interesting download. You've been authoring our newsletters a lot, so you definitely can give us January to December in terms of timelines. John, I see you have some reactions to some of the things Zach has said, and probably from your own perspective, what have you seen in the market as a pattern that you would love to throw in there? And
Hey guys, am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, thanks for starting. Zachariah, very interesting discuss there. But if I take a jab at this, I think there was quite a lot of regulatory shocks across Africa this year. You could see the resonating effect from the central bank in Kenya with the digital credit lenders license. What happened was overnight, a lot of businesses moved from legality to illegality, and that can change a lot about the dynamics of business operations, right? And if you move a bit to Ghana, I think BUG is also ruffling the waters a bit with the whole renewed focus around credit lenders. As a business owner in Africa, you have to kind of deal with these challenges around regulations. And out there, I think it's looking at it from two prisons. They're just really starting up and doing business without being effectively compliant. But I think the call this year would be for a bit more innovation from the regulators to understand the nuances that are involved in it. Because I think everyone of us can agree, it takes quite a lot to really attempt to solve the realistic challenges that we see in the continent. Let's take identity verification, for example. Foster, you have been around. Maybe jokingly, you'd have like 5 identity cards that you have to shuffle around when moving across Africa.
So,
we could all benefit.
I am Ghanaian passports, which happens to one of Ghana. So, in Africa,
where else we can all benefit from a lot of uniformity that then really drive a lot of scale and product ease and movement across the continent. Yeah, so essentially from where I sit in the automotive space, which is quite a lot of heavy lifting in the continent, I think there's a need for regulators to first understand, because in Africa, the conversation around affordability is a big thing, right? People can't afford a lot of the services. So the more gates and barriers we put, it essentially affects how we distribute in the continent. I think these are the 2 cents for me.
All right, Daniel, reactions?
Yes, it's been very interesting listening to many of the speakers before me. I think one thing that stands out is on the regulator side, we're very excited about what's happening in Kenya with the Virtual Asset Service Providers Act. We think next year there's going to be a lot of adoption in terms of crypto, stablecoins, and more adoption in that space. It's definitely going to impact the payment space. We're excited about that. And then for my side, because I sit I wear many hats. So I wear cross-border payments, lending, and logistics. On the logistics side, I think there's always a need to engage regulators. This year, we saw change in regulations in Uganda that affected SME importers in terms of the way they import. But then that also brought up a very interesting aspect in terms of how to do business in Africa, right? Yeah. Do you mitigate your risk by focusing on one country or multi-country, right? So sometimes your hands are tied and you have to figure out how to operate in multi-country. Given the BYOI, bring your own infrastructure.